such a Japs gravel road. So I was doing some strimming, you know, on green, and I got a message. Hi mate, there's a truck stuck behind the pub. You know anyone to be able to go and give it a pull? I was like, yeah mate, I'll go and have a go. So I then said, I said, what sort of truck is it? He said, it's a big red and white Scania. I was like, okay. So, you know, naturally it's probably going to take something fairly big and hefty to get it out. So, I'm in a 4-track. You know, the only rig that's going to pull a Scania. Go and have a fucking go, boys! So, went and pulled the Arctic out. Didn't get the camera out, there's a few too many people about. Got back, I was going to wash her and change the fuel pump because it leaks, but it sounds like there might be another kind of problem. She's boiling. I don't know what's wrong because the temperature gauge says she's fine, which is interesting. That bit's hot. radiator hose has compressed, yet it's still somehow red hot. So does that mean there's no pressure? Maybe? I might try and knock that cap off and see. Yeah, she sucked right in. So okay. Well, where has all of that gone then? There's a lack of juice. So maybe we add more? I think I'll go and put a hillbilly handbrake on her and start her up and get circulating again for a minute, because that is ever so slightly concerning in a big way. That's if she will restart, because she was very hot. Goodbye. I'll go and crack the heaters on full. See whether she might have just had a little airlock in her or something. Soon find out. Ooh, that's hot. So, pressure washer broke, so we can't wash the old hair. But I'm still going to have a go at doing what I've got to do. First thing first, get this big old heavily damaged bull bar off the front of the old rig. And then we'll pull the front end off, pull the rad out, span out, get the timing cover off. And then we can get in there and get the fuel pump out. So I've just removed the intercooler now. For a while now I've suspected I've been making next to 0 psi of boost, and I knew there must have been a little split in it somewhere, or I thought it was a split, because of the way she was, you know, dripping oil out down the front here. Well, having just removed the intercooler, Some cunt might have actually shot at us with an air rifle. Fuck. Wow. And nothing came out of there, so I'm slightly perplexed. So we're getting into it now, boys. I've just pulled the front pulley off, and well, there's an inspection window clear through the timing cover, and also that's engine oil, not diesel, coming out of there. So we've got a cam seal, a crank seal, or something fiddle fucked in there. So the next step is to get that motherfucker off and see how bad it actually is. I'm going to bring you boys in here because you need to see this. It identifies as a Ford 1 litre eco boom. It turns out it definitely ain't just fuel leaking in there, it is oil as well. We've got a wet belt situation. It was that wet when I pulled the cover off. It done a wee on the floor. So I've been and found me a little Technicolor brush. And the dog's realised that it can go with. This brush is a bit dirty, but I figure, you know, we've got cleaner here to clean it with, so there's that.
I've also, as well as stripping the front end off to get the roof, I've also pulled all this shoddy electrics out of the front, and we're going to redo some of them. I'm probably going to take the roof bar and big light bar off the roof, and might modify the bull bar slightly and put a set of little spotlights on it so we can, you know, utilise them. I think we need to make the old rig a little bit more covert, as she's currently agri-registered, you know, we don't want to be getting too many party light cars taking too much interest in us. I don't know what I mean by that, but I'm sure some of you will figure it out. And those of you who don't figure it out probably don't need to know.
Some of this crap in here is well stuck on. Might have to do the scraping with a screwdriver. Or I might have to screw the scraper driver, it depends. I mean, he's got. So I had a little rummage about, and I've got a cam seal, a crank seal, and a new timing belt kit. And I've just popped the old cam seal out, and well, you can see all that crap in there, but that was behind the seal, because the seal goes into the engine this way, and all in there. I mean, the camera battery's flat, so you're on the fucking charger later, but down in there you can see all the grime and crap. I think when we sunk her on New Year's Day, the water level was definitely above that point, and muddy water's got in there and eaten the seal. So I'm going to clean that up in there, pop the new one in, pop that one out, give it a clean up, pop the new one in. Then we've got to get the fuel pump off and pop a new fuel pump into her. Oh, brand new second-hand, part worn, reconditioned. It's not really reconditioned one. It should be fucking minty. Right, so I've got the old camshaft seal out. I've got a new one here, brand new one. It's a little bit dirty, so I'm going to give it a clean. You know, wipe it on my jumper and all that. That's the best way to clean things that are a bit dirty, including hands and many other things. Look at that. And then you want to put a bit round, well, if you're looking, a bit round the inside, like that. And then get a bit more, and put a bit round the outside. I don't know if you can see or not. You can't see. As I said in the other video, just imagine that I'm definitely doing it all wrong. You know, because I'm no mechanic. I'm just a steering wheel attendant who does this kind of shit for fun. Because I find fiddle fucking rusty old piles of trucks a whole lot of fun. And I've got this device here, which is part of a bush press kit that I've got, universal jobby. And that's similar sort of diameter to the seal, so we're going to use that to, you know, drive her in. And what we've got to do is we've just got to put it there and then discover that it has absolutely no intention of going in. That's the old seal. Oh, well, that don't make a lot of sense. We might have a problem, boys. Because it turns out the new seal is around about 1 millimetre bigger than the old seal. Well, this is meant to be the correct seal, so we'll assume the old seal's shrunk or something. We'll try driving this in, and if it don't fit, I'll have to order another one and hope the other one that turns up is in fact the correct size rather than the wrong size. At the minute we just need to kind of try and get the rig back together, because I'm sort of half tempted to take Kate out for a drive when it's back together, if it goes back together. So we'll put that on there. I can see this is definitely not going to fit. Oh well, we won't be able to put the rig back together today because we don't have the correct seal. I do have a crank seal. Well, I say I do have a crank seal. I suspect I have a crank seal. I only suspect though. So we'll pop the crank seal out and then see if the new one of them's right, and if that's wrong then we'll be waiting for 2 new seals to turn up that I'm going to have to order. What a pain in the ring. I was hoping to get it back together. I thought I'd got all the right bits and it was going to be a nice little tickle. But no. I mean, worst case we can at least get the fuel pump swapped over today, and then it'll just be a case of coming out, washing a seal in, putting the timing belt back on it, or putting a new timing belt kit on it, fire it up, check it runs with the new, brand new second-hand part worn price reduced to clear pump, and if it does, then we'll put the rest of the rig back together and have to take it over a test drive. But I don't think we're going to be able to do that today, on account of the fact someone clearly sold me the incorrect seal, which I'm exceptionally happy about, as you can imagine. Now that one, I don't actually have thing that's going to fit over there, so I'm just going to use a chisel Now this end of the chisel's nice and rounded off, you see, and this end's nice and blunt. So instead of using this end to, we're going to use this end against there, and we're going to hit this end. Maybe, or maybe I can just use brute force and a lot of ignorance. Oh, actually, it's virtually in there. Well, that kind of wants going a little more. Try this thing. Try and get the seal in there as square as we can. A little bit more around the bottom there. Well, that's it, and somebody's sending me a Snapchat. I hope it isn't someone who's stuck, because the recovery rig is about as out of action as it can get right now. Let me have a little look-see. Trellance, and what does Trellance want first? And Franco.
So we needed a bit of metal pipe for the banger. So fucking trying to cut it off the fucking yard with. So we needed a bit.
Well, Trelly's building bangers and they needed some pipes. They've cut the handle off the wheelbarrow. Humbug wants to know if the rig managed to get the truck out all right. Well, yeah, it did, and now the rig's broken. So, yeah. And Franco's done 45k in his 4-track and not done belt and no history of it. And it was parked 3 years before he bought it. So, you know, I think Franco, if you're watching this video, go out and buy yourself a lottery ticket, son. Good old boy. So I'm going to respond to Humbug and I'm going to stop you lot for a bit. So I've got the fuel pump off the rig and I had a look at what I'd got in stock in the way of fuel pumps, and it turns out I've got one in stock. Well, I've got two in stock, but one of them's sort of it's not very good. So, and the other one's the one that came off the beast that should probably be rebuilt before fitting back to an engine. So I came over here and found this engine, which has issues, and I don't mean issues of a magazine, I mean it has some quite bad issues. It does run, well it did run, but you know, issues are issues and all that. So I figure we'll take the pump off this, because I know the pump's good. The pump weren't what caused the issues. The issues were caused by other internal items that appeared to be not happy. So I think we'll strip the pump off this and chuck this pump in the rig. And a touch of luck, this engine is an early DL52, so it doesn't have any cold advance on the pump, which is a bonus because the rig isn't plumbed for cold advance anyway. Right boys, it's the next day. I didn't think I'd got a camshaft oil seal yesterday. I couldn't find one, but then this morning I found one. I got that fuel pump harvested off the other engine, gave it a little bit of a clean up, got it all bolted up and plumbed up on there as it should be. I've got the cam pulley on. I've just stuck a brand new idler pulley on. I've now got to go and find the new tensioner pulley that I believe is in a box in here. Yep. I use Blueprint idler and tensioners. Never had an issue with them. And I have used Blueprint belts in the past, but I've got a Gates belt on the shelf in the shed, and well, you can't really get better than Gates, you know. They've got warranty and things, which is good. So, I mean, it might be out of warranty, it's been in there years, but it's better than the one that came off it that's covered in oil. So we're going to take these round here and we're going to fiddle fuck this back into being a truck again, and hopefully within the next hour or so it'll be up and running and sounding better than ever. Oh, better plug the charger later in because that's fell out again already. Some of you won't know, but the camera took a tumble in a previous video and now the charger socket's a little bit, well, it's sloppier than my ex, and I ain't kidding you. So there's that. Oh, let's have a look. There's a shiny new one. Look, boys, we need the box, we don't need that. We really don't. There's no need for boxes. They just gets in the way of getting to the parts. That's all boxes do. And then in the back of here, you've got a little hole there, and there's a little pin there that hole sits over. So as long as you get that about right, you're about right, you know. So we'll have a go. I'm not sure that's entirely the right location. Or does it go that way up? Oh, it might go that way up. Oh, that makes more sense. I put it in upside down. You got to try these things though. If you never put parts in upside down, you never know whether they're the right way up or not. You'll get the bolts started. I've got to find the ratchet again because I don't like doing them up with the rattle gun. Bad things tend to happen if you use the rattle gun on them bolts too much. As I say, it's an aluminium housing, and well, as you can imagine, aluminium versus a rattle gun. Oh, it'd help if I get the right size socket as well. What is that? Oh, that's a 40. No wonder it felt 40. I need 12. I'll just do them up finger tight and back them off half a turn, so we're going to need to adjust that when we put the new belt on. Now, I'm going to go and wash these things quick because we don't want to be handling a brand new timing belt with oily hands. And then, well, actually first, we'll just give that area one last quick hose down with brake clean. Try and avoid getting it in the bearings in the tensioner and idler pulley though, because that might, you know, make them not last as long as they could last if they were going to last as long as they probably should. One thing to note when timing a DL52 up, yeah, fuel pump, it's got a little divot in it. Sometimes you'll find they've had a bit of paint put over them, and there's a little, you see a little indent on there, a little dip on there. That's your mark. Same with the camshaft. It's got a little indent on there. It's got to be rolled back about half a tooth to get it perfectly in line. I'll do that when I fit the new belt. And for Leon mate, you know who you are. The crankshaft also needs to be timed, mate. Okay, so I've washed the hands. They're slightly cleaner than they were. I've just tweaked that timing so it's on the mark. So we'll get the new Gates power grip belt out now. And in the box with most timing belts, especially if you get a decent brand such as Gates, you get a little thing there. It's a little sticker and you can write on it the date the belt was changed and all of that, and the mileage, so that you can stick it on the vehicle somewhere, whether you stick it to the front of the timing cover, stick it to the dash, stick it to the windscreen, just stick it somewhere, so that you, or potentially the next buyer, will know that at some stage the timing belt has been changed, and they'll know how many years ago it was and how many miles, you know, because those are important numbers to understand. Because you don't want this bit breaking, because that makes it difficult getting home, and well, everything's got a life expectancy. Allegedly, even I have, but I'm testing that theory. So then you just got to fiddle fucking work out what directionals you're going with this. What I normally do is try and get it on at the top first, to start with, like that, and then it goes up over the tensioner. And then like that, on the bottom pulley. And then what I find is good practice is to do your best to get all of the slack round to where the tensioner is, because otherwise when you tension it up, you'll end up altering your timing slightly. There. I don't know if that wants to go another. It does probably want to go a little bit round that way, I reckon. What have we got that we can rotation that with? Don't do this, you could damage things. Tweak that a little bit. It's better lined up now. Oh yeah. And then all your slacks around where the tensioner is. Minty. The belts are fully on all of the pulleys. And then, well, you probably can't see from there, but down in there is a little hexagon shape for a Dave key. So we'll go and find a Dave key that fits in that. Wherever the Dave keys are. No, no, no. Back in a minute. Right, let's see if we've got one in this little set here that you can't see because it's off camera, because I'm hiding it from you. We've got one in here that fits in there. That's a bit of a loose fit in the hole. Alright, so it turns out that on a blueprint tensioner, the Dave key size you'll need is 8mm. Other brands may vary in size, obviously. And then it's kind of a twin ratchet job, so I've got another ratchet with the adapter for the Dave key. Pull a little bit of tension, then double check your timing marks. Now the crank looks about half a tooth out, but saying that, so does the cam, and the fuel pump is about right. So I don't know, maybe I got the timing off on the fuel pump when I installed it, so it's on slotted holes, but we'll probably go with it how it is there. Hope I had this set go in the right direction. Tight. Tight. Now, most important thing is to make sure there ain't enough slack in that anywhere that's going to cause that belt to jump, or your timing's going to be all to fuck. And you could end up bending things. But bit of luck, that's gone in there nicely. Everything feels happy. So I guess now we can kind of continue the reassemblification. Now, the next stage of reassemblification, let's put this on the bottom there. And this kind of acts as a keeper, I guess, help keep the belt staying on where it needs to be, and it just does the rotational. So I'll give it a clean up, a little clean up, like that. I just brake cleaned it, dry it off a little, wave it in the air, that normally works. I mean, it's dirty, but it's well ingrained dirt, it's not going to cause any issues. That goes on there. The only thing to do now is to put the new timing belt cover on, which is, I've got the one off the other engine because it doesn't have holes clean through it, so I figure it might be 14.2% better. You know, it can't be any worse. Right boys, the timing belt's back in, timing's alright, got the cover back on, got the front pulley back on. So the next thing to do before reassembling anything else in here, well, the next thing I always like to do, and I've got to do a bit more work to do it on this one, is I want to try and get her running and just check she is running right and happy with the time and how it is before we, you know, bolt everything else back together and find out it's not happy with it. So I'm going to change the battery terminals. So I've got two new battery terminal connectors to go on it the other day. And then we'll get a battery in her and see if we can, you know, coax her into life somehow. Could be interesting. Okay boys, I'm virtually ready to start her. A new battery terminals put on. I'm not coupling that up yet because the immobiliser is going to have a spaz attack when I do, so I've got to be ready to go and dekey that. But I've got some WD-40 here, so I'm probably going to squirt a bit into the intake. I've got the injectors cracked off because obviously we're going to have to prime fuel up to there. This thing here might work actually, but I'm not confident, so we're not even going to bother. And I've joined a wire. There's your starter trigger wire. Has actually got a join here that you can unplug and join a piece of wire into it, so that when you touch it on there, obviously when the earth leads on, when you touch it on there, she'll wind over. So I'm going to go and check she's out of gear and brace myself for deactivating what's left of the immobiliser. Well, she's either out of gear or the selector's felt a bit. I'm taking them with me just in case the door blows shut and it locks itself, because, well, I trust it about as far as I can throw it, and it's far too heavy for me to throw. Also, I've just realised I should probably put the body earth on. So I'll do that. And give it all a blow. Right, the injectors have just started spitting a little bit of diesel out, so we'll do them up again now and we'll have another go. He doesn't appear to want to start on WD-40. Don't know what a fucking issue is. We'll have another go. Alright, she wants to be difficult apparently. We'll go. going to give her an addiction, and she's going to have to start then. Bad. That's bad. Something's not happy under the alternator. And I can tell that because of the amount of oil that's currently running out of it. So, what have we upset round there? I'm not sure. I've not even touched that area today. What is going on? So I got the fucking old alternator off after struggling with it, and it is quite clear that there's a seal gone between the vacuum pump that has oil going around it and the inside of the alternator, because that's where all the oil's running out of. So I've been to my stores collection and I found this alternator here that we're not sure whether it's good or bad, but you know, this one doesn't appear to leak oil, so how bad can it be? So there's that. I think that one's going on there. Well, I might have to do a little bit of fettling with the old bracketry, because this one's had a custom bracket put on it that's not good. So I should probably take that bracket off that one and put on this one to make it more gooder than the less good one that's on there currently. So boys, I swapped this fiddle-fucked unit for a unit that's less fiddle-fucked, and off camera I've had it running, I then undone the bolts in the fuel pump and tweaked it a little, and it runs smoother now. It still misfires profusely, but I think this engine just naturally has a bad valve. You know, and the alternator's making electro digitals, which is a bonus. Time lapse, and I'll get the bit in the front there, but I'm a bit concerned about this bit here. It doesn't appear to do the spinning properly. So it's another night, and well, I'm going to attempt to start this again and see if it runs better than it did last time it was running, because allegedly putting a new fuel pump on it has made it run worse when it's cold. But if it still keeps running worse and the brown dog keeps barking, then well, I guess we've either got to change injectors or pull the fucking rocker cover off and see if the valves all go up and down properly, because well, the other day when I started up, it sounded like things was not happy in there, but once it got warm, it weren't too bad. You know, so we put the old fucking screwdriver in. No, I've actually got keys for this one. Shocking. Oh. It's not happy. It's all of the not happy. Still not happy. So there's that. So maybe now we relocate it a little, you know, to somewhere more accessible than in the death zone there, where, you know, things roll. But I don't know. I don't know, we could potentially, because obviously I've got loads of sets of brand new injectors on the shelf. No. So we could potentially rob the injectors out of this engine that we've robbed most bits off now, well, apart from bits that are still useful. And then maybe those injectors are better. Can't be any fucking worse, can they? But if it doesn't improve, then maybe we need to look for bent valves or something, because, well, the level of smokiness coming out of a rig when it's cold is not good, boys. Really? Oh! And the brown dog escaped. Mint! So, boys, that's the next weekend. And this fiddle fuck pile of scrap is still partially in bits. And the goal for today is to make that bit in there do the smooth rotationals when it's cold, and make them bits work because there's no wiring, and then modificate that bit that's down there so it can be put on here and have a receiver hitch in, so I can put the winch that's over there on the receiver mount on here, and then we can do winching with the old rig. I've had that bit off. There is some rare clearances in there, but everything appears to turn over smoothly and do the up and down smoothly. So I've got some food and freezer bags, and we're going to pop the old injector pipes off and then put one of them over each pipe and just wind her over and see if there's variation or if they're the same. And then we'll know whether the new fuel pump is actually a good one or a bad one, which could be an interesting subject. The alternator's not leaked any more oil, so that's fucking mint. I'm going to crack on and get the fucking bolts out down there and undo these piss flaps, and then we'll fiddle fuck them in. Okay, so we've got a bag around each one of them fiberlators there. So now, turn the ignition on so it opens the stop solenoid. Starter motor was well impressed with that. So now we get to investigate how much diesel is gathered in each bag. Alright, so I checked fuel supply by hooking a clicky-clack pump in this side of the filter and filled this, well, it's an old gas bottle, I've cut the end off, put it in that, and there was a lot of air coming out, to be fair. So I've got the other end of this, I've drilled the valve out the end of it, so it's a straight feed into the pump. We'll see if she runs smoother or worser now. And maybe it's just that we can't get fuel to the pump. Nobody knows yet. It make no difference. So it's not a lack of fuel getting to the pump either, because that's being gravity fed in there, so it can't be air in it. Brandog, be quiet, mate. I've got my head being scratched. Yeah, I know, but you ain't clever enough to have an idea. I don't care. You ought to go in your cage or something. Well, that silenced him. I think he wants to go in his cage. Oh, bugger. Well, that means it's something else. So, I might have did a thing off camera. I got my 12mm spanner out again, and I have advanced the fuel pump as far as the slotted holes will allow me to pry it with a big bar. And, well, I'm shocked. Check this out. So I think we fixed her, boys. I think she just wanted all of the fuel pump advancement, you know, all of it. So there's that. Also, I'm going to have to run this thing out here that's got fuel in it. So I better start her up and let her run for a bit longer. On account of the fact, when I take the pipe off, it's going to go everywhere anyway, and we don't want to waste good stuff. We might as well turn it into some noise. So I guess now what I've got to do is attach the fuel line back correctly to how it should be rather than how it is. And then fire the old rig up again and take it for a little test spin. Alright boys, we'll see if she'll fire up again and take her for a test rip. And see if she's still running good when she's warm, or whether this has made it run good cold and bad warm, because I'm not sure. Sounds a lot happier now. Well, we've made it down to the main road. I ain't going to take her out on the main road just yet. We'll stick to the farm for now. So I'll swing round, put you boys on the camera holder, and then we'll gun it back up the hill and see what she goes like uphill. You boys can sit up there now. That's a different viewpoint for you. I've just discovered a new place the camera will sit. She's fucking minty, boys! Goes the fucking tree. She fucking ripped! That means we can continue working on other bits of the project now because the engine's fucking minty. Oh, that's all better, boys. That's all fucking better. We've actually fixed something that we set out to fix rather than it just being more fucked. I tell you, that's fucking mint. Right, I'm going to go and fucking figure out how I'm going to wire the headlights in and maybe a set of spotlights on the front and modificate the bull bar a little.